Straight ahead on CCX News, just back from Florida's hurricane zone, a local fire chief recalls helping on the front lines.
Absolutely incredible humanity and neighbors helping neighbors.
Plus, prayer on the go, how a local church is reaching out.
We know that a lot of people won't even come inside a church, but maybe they still want prayer.
But first, Robbinsdale hears from all sides on proposals to raise the age for tobacco. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone. Robbinsdale residents and business owners will have to wait a little longer to see if the city imposes stricter rules on tobacco sales.
Proposed restrictions include limiting flavored tobacco products to adult-only shops and raising the sales age from 18 to 21. As Delane Cleveland reports, a public hearing prompted the city council to hold off before making a decision.
So I'll go ahead and open the public hearing.
Tuesday night, a sea of blue shirts packed the Robbinsdale City Council chambers.
Every time I walked into the stores, I would be shocked by the huge displays of cheap candy-flavored tobacco products right at eye level.
Their goal:
I want my children to grow up free from the harms of tobacco.
To state their case as to why Robbinsdale should make changes that would make it harder for minors to purchase tobacco products.
By limiting tobacco products to adults over 21, you get the products out of the schools. And it's an extra layer of prevention between those who can buy and the younger kids.
However, business owners had a different take on the proposed changes.
Over 65% of my sales daily, it's tobacco. If you guys decide to do this, most likely with the time, we're gonna shut down.
Business owners didn't dispute the harms of tobacco, but they fear that if neighboring cities don't have the same tobacco sales restrictions, consumers will simply choose to shop there instead.
We are struggling to pay our expenses, and that's going to make it worse and worse.
When it came time for Robbinsdale City Council members to weigh in,
we're definitely 100% in favor of reducing the use of tobacco with youth. I think that's safe to say. The question is, how do we get there? And that's the conflict I have.
They acknowledge the challenges of imposing stricter rules on tobacco sales.
In such a small city, it is easy to just walk across the street to Crystal and get the product somewhere else.
In the end, they decided to revisit the issue on November 7th.
Personally, for me, I want to wait. I'm not ready for a first reading.
The council plans to meet with more residents and business owners over the next few weeks. One idea is to allow gas stations and convenience stores to continue selling flavored tobacco products, but to keep them under the counter so they're not visible to youth. Mike.
All right, Delane, thank you. Well, there are similar concerns in Plymouth, which is also hearing calls to raise the tobacco age.
It's the ancillary purchases that are concerning to me, and I think we need to get some input from our retailers to really take a look at this. But if you're going to go to Medina to buy your cigarettes, you might just buy your gas at the same time, so, or your food or whatever else you're doing. So I really think we need to get all of the players together and have a conversation.
Mayor Slavic supports raising the age to buy tobacco, but only if it's done on a statewide basis.
Brooklyn Park Police have a homicide investigation underway after a 51-year-old man was found dead in his apartment. Police were asked to do a welfare check on the man who lived at the Huntington Place Apartments on 73rd Avenue. They found the man dead inside his apartment with obvious signs of trauma. Police have arrested the victim's roommate. He was the one who called police to do the welfare check.
He was the original caller who reported that he had assaulted his roommate and then left and was asking us to go back to the apartment to get some property. Information that we had learned through the investigation that he was a homeless individual that was temporarily staying with the victim, and ultimately we picked him up today and arrested him.
We are not releasing the suspect's name until he's formally charged.
For Plymouth's fire chief, a trip to Florida to help out in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma was one he won't soon forget. He calls it an incredible opportunity to help people who need it.
Absolutely incredible to see the humanity. Again, those people that were there, our primary goal was to give them food and water and eventually ice. Out of these points of distribution, but absolutely incredible humanity and neighbors helping neighbors.
Chief Roger Coppa has just returned from Florida. He was one of 16 Minnesota emergency professionals who were sent to the Florida Keys about a day and a half after Irma barreled through. They set up distribution points over 86 miles in the Keys, providing water and meals to 50,000 residents, some who stayed through the storm and others who were returning home.
We got a briefing, found somewhere to live for the evening. At this point, there was no communications at all. There was no radio, there was no cell phones, there's no water, there was no electricity, there was no sanitary sewer, and really no lodging.
Minnesota group set up tents in a parking lot to live in, but in a stroke of luck, a maintenance man from a nearby condominium offered them a room.
The discussion continues in Brooklyn Park about parking restrictions. Currently, there is no parking on public streets from 2 to 5 a.m. between October 15th and April 15th. The council could shorten the ban by 1 month or move to a year-round parking ban. A community survey shows the majority favor shortening the ban, and one council member says the real issue is working with apartments to provide more spaces for residents.
And for us to punish all the rest of the residents that live here in our city and all the other neighborhoods by passing an all year round policy of, say, restricting parking from 2 to 5 doesn't make sense to me.
Do you feel,
Council members agreed stricter enforcement is needed. The 5 central apartments were a big deal for downtown Osseo a couple of years ago. Now the same developer wants to build in Robbinsdale. This begins our look inside City Hall. Robbinsdale's City Council is eyeing plans for a 132-unit apartment building between West Broadway and Lakeland Avenue North next to Citizens Independent Bank. The developer, Beard Group, started working on this project in 2013 to acquire 2.5 acres of land for the proposed apartment building called Birdtown Flats.
We'll have a combination of studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, and with a whole plethora of amenities, everything from a dog park to a bike workstation to a community room with Wi-Fi, club quality equipment, and a variety of unit plans.
If the City Council approves the project by the end of the year, construction would begin next spring.
Plymouth's Crime and Fire Prevention Group is working to help the family of Wayzata police officer Bill Mathews, who died in the line of duty.
The last board meeting they had, they really felt strongly about trying to find a way to support the Mathews family, a Plymouth family. They also wanted to support law enforcement. So they reached out to a number of their community partners, sat down at a table, and in 2 weeks this event came together. It is going to be a fun event.
Wayzata police officer Bill Mathews died earlier this month after being struck by a car, and his loss is still resonating through the law enforcement community in the western suburbs. The benefit is a way to remember Mathews and all the good he did.
It is. It really is, yeah. You know, Bill was a wonderful man and a servant in the community, a servant for good, and we want to honor him. I mean, we want to rally behind his family and show that support.
The event is coming up Saturday at the Cub Foods parking lot on County Road 24 starting at 3 o'clock. Still ahead on CCX News, our first standout student of the school year is a high achiever with a desire to help others in a big way.
Plus, Maple Grove's varsity soccer teams both remain unbeaten in conference play with wins at home.
But first, another nice day in the low 70s on Thursday.
Our first standout student of the school year is a senior at Maranatha.
Cassidy Bianchi-Rossi has maintained a 4.0 throughout high school, and reporter Sonia Goen shows us how she plans to make a difference in the world.
I have to finish reading my ethics book. I have a quiz. I have a paper that's due.
Cassidy Bianchi-Rossi's to-do list for this week would put most adults to shame.
This is a college class, college class, college class, college class.
The National Honor Society member is taking college classes. One of her favorite subjects is human anatomy. In the near future, we might call her Cassidy the cardiologist.
I got really interested in the heart during human anatomy, and so I might want to look into doing something more in that, like maybe specializing.
The well-rounded student also participates in several school activities. She's a member of the film club, the prom committee, and she's captain on the school soccer team.
I've played soccer since I could remember. Like, it's very go with the flow, and I play like center mid.
Cassidy also has a big heart and a passion for helping out others. She's taken several mission trips to an orphanage in Mexico.
I love that mission trip. I went on it for the first time in 10th grade.
Her experience has given her new perspective on life.
It honestly makes you feel like really sad that they have to like struggle to provide for their families and stuff like that.
This standout student wants to make a difference.
For Cassidy, it's really whatever she wants to do is what she's going to do. I have no doubt that anything she puts her mind to, she'll easily accomplish that and more.
She hopes to change the world by continuing her humanitarian efforts.
Things like Doctors Without Borders or something like that. I think that would be super cool to be able to take it outside of the United States.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Up next, we drive through for everything from banking to burgers, so why not a little spiritual time too?
But first, the Maple Grove football team prepares to play Minnesota's top-ranked team. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson. The Maple Grove girls soccer team is ranked 3rd in the state in Class AA with just a non-conference loss to Washburn and an otherwise perfect record. They are the team to beat in the Northwest Suburban Conference, and Maple Grove hosted Elk River in Tuesday night in a conference match. Well-placed corner kick here, and it's Lauren Bredensteiner timing it right to redirect it in. The Crimson grab a 1-0 lead. Meredith Hawkinson is a great player. Her shot catches the goalkeeper off guard, bouncing past her for a goal. Maple Grove takes a 2-0 lead into halftime. Second half, Bredensteiner chases it ball down in front and puts it on net. The Elks deny the original chance, but Mia Omar is there, and she will score, and it's 3-0 Crimson. Later, Hawkinson dishes to Manon McMahon, and her shot is just inside the far post as Maple Grove cruises to a 4-0 win. They play out to Tino Grace on Thursday. Crimson Boys is having a very good season too. They broke through after a halftime of their game. Maple Grove in white, first half against Elk River. Jeff Kloon crosses it in front. Alex Downing gets to it, turns and fires. Elks goalie William Sabuski making a nice save, one of several he made in a scoreless first half. Second half, offer a corner kick here by Antonio Magadan. He passes it to Jack Gluckler. He rips it into the back of the Elks net for Maple Grove's first goal. A few minutes later, Magadan with another corner kick. Number 12, Caleb Robinson has the first chance at it, but it's number 20, Kloon, who puts it in, and Maple Grove is ahead 2-1. And Coach Greg Leininger's team pulls away from there. A loose ball here comes to Will Zaver. He beats the goalie with a nice shot to the left corner of the net. That makes it 3-1 Maple Grove. And Gluckler closes the scoring. His second goal. Maple Grove scores 4 times in about 10 minutes of play in the second half to win it 4-1. Crimson's record now 9-0-2. In volleyball, Hopkins and Wayzata have had a lot of great matchups over the years. Hopkins ranked number 8 in Class 3A coming into their match Tuesday. The Royals roll in the opening set. Jane Nelson with a change of pace roll shot here. Hopkins cruises to a 25-8 win. Wayzata hangs in much better from there. Carissa Travis with a nice block. The Royals prevail. Shadir Tutt puts away for a kill. Hopkins wins the second set 25-19. The third set is the closest. Olivia Roberts and Sophie Jesuits get up for a block as Wayzata keeps battling back, but Hopkins pulls out a close third set and they win it 25-23. The Maple Grove football team is 3-1 at the halfway point of the season. As Jay Wilcox reports, the Crimson face a great challenge this week.
Maple Grove's had some tough tests and mostly passed them. The Crimson are 3-1, losing only a close one at Minnetonka that saw them bounce back from a 20-0 deficit to take a lead before the Skippers prevailed. It's been a fun first half of the season.
So far, we're looking pretty good. In the beginning, we were looking a little rusty, but soon as our defense gets together and Lombo gets what he wants, then we're going to be a pretty good team.
This week, Maple Grove meets the team that eliminated them in the state quarterfinals a year ago, top-ranked Eden Prairie. It won't be easy, but it's the type of challenge they relish.
No intimidation at all through the season of waiting up to this game. The Eagles, they're a good team and all, but We have, we're experienced and well trained enough by our coach that we're ready for them.
We're all having fun right now. This is probably the best week of practice we've had, and everyone's just having a great time, and we're trying to just go out there and play hard.
We've really gotten to enjoy playing them. I think we've played them quite a bit, so there is a familiarity between the two of us now, and we've had some really close games. The last one we played was kind of a turnover fest, and it got out of hand there early on, but I think we're looking forward to it. We love playing them. Obviously, we have all the respect in the world for them, and they're the program that we all kind of strive to become, and so it'll be fun to play them Thursday night.
The Eden Prairie game isn't the last tough one. Maple Grove meets 6th-ranked Lakeville North and 3rd-ranked Edina in the next 2 weeks. Just the way they like it. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
As Coach Lombardi mentioned, Maple Grove hosts Eden Prairie on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's it for sports, and we'll be right back.
Well, this was the day when thousands of students nationwide gathered around school flagpoles for prayer.
Reporter Shannon Slatton shares how a Plymouth church wanted to extend the idea by offering a prayer event on the go.
It's a little difficult with a construction project going on this time.
Construction cones are no barrier to the friendly message coming from waving volunteers.
It's pretty cool.
On busy County Road 101 in Plymouth.
It's amazing how many people respond to the wave.
Volunteers from Wayzata Free Church stood by the road for a total of 8 hours today.
The first 10 minutes I didn't wave and nobody would even look at you. So when you do wave, it's amazing. People will wave back. Generally speaking.
Their message to alert drivers that they could stop in the parking lot.
Any place is fine, yeah.
For a brief prayer.
As a Christian, I think it's one of the most important things we can do is to commune with our Father.
We just speak freedom for them in Jesus' name.
It's the second time Wayzata Free Church has offered drive-through prayers.
For the protection of their home, their family.
Says the Director of Prayer Ministries, Andrea Haybison.
We know that a lot of people won't even come inside a church, but maybe they still want prayer. And so we're like, well, our parking lot is right here. We're on a busy highway. 100,000 cars a week drive by here.
The requests volunteers here are heartfelt and often emotional.
And Lord, we're going to continue to lift them in prayer, and we just thank you for your presence.
The prayer often lifts the driver's spirit, but today, volunteers feel blessed too.
It's just neat to be able to do that for other people and to pray along with someone and get that sense of God working in their life.
In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
Wayzata Free partnered with 3 other metro area churches to offer the drive-through prayer, and they hope it becomes a semi-annual event. That's all the news for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we will see you back here again Thursday, starting at 4.